Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! It is so unbelievable to me every single time that I sign on this YouTube show and talk about Descendants and Zombies, how many people are in support of this. This is the most popular Descendants and Zombies YouTube show on the internet, and it's because of each and every one of you. It didn't happen because some guy just woke up one day and randomly started posting Descendants and Zombies videos, and one Descendants and Zombies video tended to explode. It happened because of each and every one of you. This has become a trend. This has become a way of life for many people. And without Descendants and Zombies being a part of our lives, how are we ever going to survive? How are we ever going to live? How can we be prepared for a zombie apocalypse? How can we believe in true love existing and finding true love? Well, we do it through the power of Descendants and Zombies more so than we've ever given ourselves credit for. And we are some of the best friends with people now because of Descendants and Zombies. I have seen it with my own two eyes, and if you don't believe it, perhaps you should be talking about Descendants and Zombies on your YouTube channel. I am your host of Descendants and Zombies. I am your voice of Descendants and Zombies for the foreseeable future, and I'm excited for the future that lies ahead for us because it's a future that we have yet to discover and history that we are all going to be a part of. With Descendants 5, we got Wonderland coming out next summer, and Zombies 5 as late as 2028. I know that sounds really scary for the release window of Zombies suggesting 2028, but Zombies 5 will be better by the time Zombies 5 embarks on a new franchise and a new journey involving mermaids, sirens, witches, whatever's inside of that vortex. I'm incredibly excited to find out what it is, and I'm incredibly excited to be along with you guys for what's going to be an incredible journey. The honor that I had bestowed upon me was having the honor of meeting each and every one of you. As great as it is to talk about Descendants and Zombies and how fun it is, the greatest honor I've ever had bestowed upon me is having the honor and the privilege of being in your guys' presence. Thank you so much for all the love and support you have shown this YouTube channel, because I, for one, am incredibly excited to see what the future has in store for the Descendants franchise. You know, 10 years ago, I never ever thought Descendants would get to this point, and 20 years ago, when I was a podcast host and a YouTuber, I never ever thought that 20 years later, I'd be sitting on this show talking about Descendants and Zombies as much as what I have. But you guys deserve it, because you're such huge fans of Descendants and Zombies, and nobody goes out of their way on YouTube to do a show or produce a show about Descendants and Zombies. So I think it's due time that somebody gave it the credit and the respect it deserved. And it's finally really cool to see the Disney villains being shown the respect they deserved for forever through the eyes of the Disney villain kids, such as Maleficent's daughter Mal, the Evil Queen's daughter Evie, the Queen of Hearts' daughter Red. They have done fabulous jobs, and I'm really excited to see what the next chapter has in store for Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland. Apparently it's going to be taking place in present-day Wonderland with no time travel required, so it's been taken out of the script, which means Ruby Rose Turner is not going to be a part of that. And that really breaks my heart that Ruby is not going to be a part of Descendants 5, because Ruby Rose Turner held a special place in my heart for forever, ever before she was a part of the cast of Descendants. I remember watching Ruby when she was 12 years old on the show Coop and Cammy Ask the World. It may not have been Disney's answer to iCarly, because I think Bizarre Aardvark was Disney's ultimate answer to iCarly, although Bizarre Aardvark only got 2 seasons. Maybe it got 2 seasons and a half, I'm not really sure, but I know Kylie Cantrell appeared on season 2 of that, after like 18 episodes had dropped or something, in a reoccurring role as Tessa, and then she was given the opportunity to be Gabby Duran on Gabby Duran and the Unsuitables 18 months after. That was a year and a half later. So they kind of just sprinkled Kylie Cantrell everywhere on Disney to find out what they were going to do with her. And whoever thought Kylie Cantrell would be in this aspiring role, donning the role of Red, the fearless Queen of Hearts' daughter Red, who didn't care what anybody thought of her, even her own mother, because she went back in time to try to fix the consequences of her mother's actions, and look what happened. There are more consequences now to expect in Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland. One of them is having a new sister that's going to present a lot of controversy and a lot of twists and turns in the plot, which I'm really excited about, because I don't think a Disney villain star has ever had a sister in the plot. So this is really going to thicken the plot. It's going to make it far more interesting, and it's going to present a lot of controversy, and a lot of opinions are going to be exchanged about this one, and especially the opinions of the Pink are going to vary. Some people are going to like her, others are not so much going to like her, but I think I'm going to be a big fan of her, to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to meeting her, and I'm looking forward to finding out what she's going to offer to the franchise, because I think it's really drawing a formidable conclusion to say that she's not going to deliver to the fans after having Ruby Rose Turner removed from the franchise and it receiving mixed reactions. I think some people would prefer Ruby to have been taken out. Others would have preferred for her to stay around for a little while longer, because her time with the Descendants franchise, my issue with this is, her time with the Descendants franchise was very short-lived. Now that goes without saying we may see her re-emerge in Descendants 6 if time travel is required, but you can't honestly tell me you couldn't have written a storyline where you went back in time in the first 10 minutes of the movie and brought Ruby back to present-day Wonderland to have her something to do with with the script. I mean, I don't buy into that for one single moment. I think it was just how the cast had become overloaded, and in order to make room for new cast members such as Liamani Segura, they had to remove other cast members such as Ruby Rose Turner. Okay, time travel is no longer required. There's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way out. I think it was an act of disrespect towards Ruby to kind of just let her go. I think if I was the writer or producer of this one, I would have done everything to make Ruby Rose Turner happy within my power, because I think that a lot of the confidence needs to be given to these stars, because they really put their lives on the line to entertain each and every one of us as part of the Descendants franchise. And they've really done the best to their ability to really bring this franchise to life in a way that I don't think anybody else would have ever been able to do it. Question, did we ever see Dove Cameron? Did we ever see Sophia Carson go on tour like we're seeing the Worlds Collide tour now with Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker? No, we didn't. And I don't think if the opportunity would have ever presented itself, I don't think we would have ever seen Dove Cameron or Sophia Carson go on tour for a Worlds Collide tour if that would have happened around the time the trilogy was at the heights of its popularity, because it was at the heights of its popularity to unprecedentedness. And it was more popular, I think, than the original franchise. So because it was more popular than the original franchise, there was no reason why we couldn't have had a Worlds Collide tour sooner than this. We could have Descendants and Zombies come together because, of course, Descendants 3 was becoming a trilogy around the same time Zombies had premiered in February of 2018. So, I mean, the Zombies cast could have combined with the Descendants cast ever before this, and it could have exploded in popularity. Just think about how much revenue would have been generated, how much merchandise would have been sold, how many tickets would have been sold, how many people would have sold at arenas across the country and the world. I think by now, if we would have seen a Descendants Zombies Worlds Collide tour ever before we did, it definitely would have had more tour dates around the world, and it would have expanded from beyond the United States. So that's why I've been kind of putting it out there that I kind of wanted to be the writer and producer of Descendants, because I think there was a lot of missed out opportunities. There were a lot of characters that are often underappreciated in Descendants. Ruby Rose Turner, I felt as if was an underappreciated character because she was just so lovely, and being in her presence was an honor, I think, for everybody who was ever a part of the Descendants production, either the cast or the writers and producers. She just brought the best out of not only herself, but brought the best out of everybody she had the opportunity to work with, kind of like how Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim brought the best out of themselves and everybody they had to work with from Zombies to Zombies 4. It was an incredible 7-year journey. They had been on a decade they will never ever forget, and they touched each other's hearts through the connection they shared on the set of Zombies, which was something that could be highlighted time and time again, because sometimes chemistry between two cast members is very difficult to create and notice. Like, we never saw that same kind of chemistry between Emily Osment and Miley Cyrus. I spoke on this on one of my previous podcasts earlier today. I think that if we would have seen that same kind of chemistry that existed between Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson, between Emily Osment and Miley Cyrus years ago, Hannah Montana probably would have been ever more so popular than what it was. The reason why Hannah Montana only exceeded to a certain expectation level of the critics was because of the lack of chemistry and understanding between Emily Osment and Miley Cyrus. I think they both wanted to achieve more out of life, and until they had the opportunity to do that, after they reached a mutual understanding about each other's wants and demands in life, they were unable to make Hannah Montana as popular as what it could have been, because it could have been far more popular than it ever was. And that's coming from some guy who was really a big fan of Hannah Montana years ago, and I'm talking, I was the biggest Hannah Montana fan and supporter out there. I had the merchandise, I had Hannah Montana tickets, I went to Hannah Montana movie premieres. I was the only guy on certain occasions that was actually in the theater or at a Hannah Montana concert, and I loved it so much. I really did, because Miley Cyrus always performed to the best of her ability, and she's the reason why we're seeing such huge success stories now be written for people like Milo Manheim, Meg Donnelly, and Kylie Cantrell. You know, if there ever was a Hannah Montana of this new generation, hands down, I would have to pick Kylie Cantrell because of the work ethic, the incredible dedication she has to rehearsals, time in and time out. She's always rehearsing, either that or she's in the gym getting in shape for a role such as Red, because of course they had to do a lot of parkour training, and that's something I had a profound amount of respect for these Descendant stars for being able to do, because I don't even think I, as physically as conditioned as what I am, I don't think I would be able to do the parkour training that these Descendant stars did and had to put themselves through. It was a rigorous training regimen, and I don't even know if I'd be able to endure it. And I've done a lot of fitness training over the years, and I honestly don't think I would be able to do what they did or put myself through it. So I have a profound amount of respect. I just want to say that for people like Kylie Cantrell to be able to do what they do. And it's night in and night out. That's the thing. By 7 o'clock, you're on the stage performing. Ever before that, you're rehearsing. And by 10 o'clock every night, it's back to the bus in a different city in a different venue. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for them. And I think respect needs to be handed to them, because a lot of people wouldn't be able to do this. They would crack under pressure. And how many people have we seen crack crack under pressure in Disney over the years. Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato, some of the names that come to mind. More recently, of course, Selena Gomez cracked under pressure about a decade ago. Demi Lovato around the same time. So I have a profound amount of respect for people like Kylie Cantrell for being able to keep their cool and being able to bring this franchise to life in a way that it's been meant to be brought to life for what feels like forever. I've been the biggest fan of Kylie Cantrell. I say this because I've been the biggest fan of Kylie Cantrell for pretty much all of my life. I remember watching her show Hello Kylie and watching her review all these hit TV shows that I was a huge fan of, like iCarly and Victorious. And if you know anything about me, years ago, I could never say enough good things about stars like Victoria Justice and Ariana Grande from Victorious fame, because that show really encouraged us to really put our dreams in action. That was the lyrics of the song Make It Shine, which was the theme song of the TV series. And of course, I remember that record being released in 2010 with the hit songs Make It Shine and Freak to Freak Out on it. I knew that Victoria Justice and Ariana Grande had it and were going to be something special in the entertainment industry. And Ariana Grande is the biggest reason why I'm going to see Wicked for Good in November, on November 21st. So watching Kylie Cantrell review these shows really brought back fond memories of my childhood, and I said, Kylie Cantrell deserves a bigger opportunity than this, and 500,000 views on YouTube is a far cry from what she deserves and what she has yet to achieve in her lifetime. Because Kylie Cantrell, the thing about Kylie Cantrell was, she was always incredibly supportive of her fans, but her fans were never as supportive of her as she was of them. So I think that if we had a mutual understanding and respect for Kylie Cantrell that she had for us, I think Kylie Cantrell can be really pushed beyond her physical limits, and her best years of her career have yet to be discovered. Because Kylie Cantrell does not deserve to be waking up every morning afraid to YouTube herself or Google herself, afraid of what she's going to find, because there's a lot of criticism about Kylie Cantrell. But I think in light of all the criticism, that can be replaced with positive reviews, because the Worlds Collide tour was highlighted by Kylie Cantrell's performances and performing her EP singles, of course, Goodie Bag, Denim, and See You Tonight. So we not only got a chance to see her as Red, we got to see Kylie Cantrell for who she really was. With her, what you see is what you get. Kind of like this show. For me, what you see is what you get. And I've never ever perceived myself for being someone that I'm not. I know I talk about a lot of my life stories to try to relate it to Descendants on this show, but the thing is, it really brings this show to life, and it really helps present this content way far better than any other YouTube creator out there. Because for me, talking about Descendants and Zombies really has been an honor of my life, and an honor that I will never ever forget, because I consider this an honor to be able to be on this podcast every day talking about Descendants and Zombies and offer you my predictions and my thoughts on what direction I think the franchises are headed in, because these stories still have a long way to go and so much more to be told. I think that they are going to go down in history for being Disney legends. When, where, and how, and under what circumstances, I really don't know. But when you talk about people like Freya Sky, Kylie Cantrell, Malia Baker, what have you, I think they're definitely going to go down in history for being Disney legends. It's just a matter of time. And I would love to be the guy that actually presents them with the accolade of being Disney legends, because I think it's a dream of every Disney star to eventually go down in history, if not for being one of the youngest Disney legends of all time, like Miley Cyrus's criteria, which was a level that I don't think will ever be surpassed. They definitely deserve to go down in history as some of the greatest and most revered Disney legends of all time, because as I mentioned, if you want to talk about a Hannah Montana of this new generation, it would definitely have to be Kylie Cantrell, because she's not only perceiving herself as the Red character, but she's also perceiving herself for what you see is what you get with Kylie Cantrell, because she's a very down-to-earth person, and I've never encountered a more down-to-earth personality for a celebrity such as Kylie Cantrell's. Dove Cameron would have to be second to that, because Dove Cameron's very open-hearted and open-minded about her opinions in interviews for podcasts, especially after getting away from Disney. Dove Cameron is not afraid to shy away from her opinions, so I think with Dove Cameron sharing her opinion on life now after closing the door on her Disney past and desperately trying to leave it behind her really shows us what Dove Cameron is really like, with an open heart and an open mind, not afraid to say how she feels. And I think Kylie Cantrell is the same way, although Kylie Cantrell is under a lot of restrictions right now with the Disney company, of course, how they're trying to promote Descendants 5. But I think that Kylie Cantrell has demonstrated great work ethic. And for 500,000 views on YouTube in less than a year, that really shows how far Kylie Cantrell's career has went. Now, of course, growing up in a dance house and having a dad as a producer had a lot to help with that. But the thing was, Kylie Cantrell wanted this dream to become a reality more than anything else in the world. And she got that opportunity through your eyes and because you supported her. So you have every reason in the world to be proud of yourself. Because oftentimes what Disney will do is Disney will do this thing where they sprinkle you around different TV shows like Shake It Up years ago, which was what happened for Dove Cameron. Dove Cameron's song was featured in the background of a couple of scenes for Shake It Up years ago, and Bella Thorne heard the song, reached out to Dove Cameron, and just as fast as you could snap your fingers, Dove Cameron was auditioning for a Disney Channel show, which was really sketched to be Bits and Pieces, which of course was then rebranded into Liv and Maddie. So I think that after being sprinkled everywhere 18 months later to have Kylie Cantrell called up to Disney after she was originally offered a contract with Nickelodeon, opportunity that she turned down. It was huge for Kylie Control. And to choose Disney over Nickelodeon, it really showed where Kylie Control's passion lied. It lied with all of you. She wanted to be a Disney girl. She wanted to be a Disney girl more than anything in the world. Kind of like me. I've always wanted to have something to do with the Disney company, and I've been very fortunate to have my voice heard through the power of YouTube. I don't know how far these videos reach or how much of a reach my YouTube channel actually has, but I like to believe it has a far enough reach that it actually inspires more people to hit the subscribe button, because 15 years ago, nobody pretty much knew who I was, although I've always had a consistent habit of being famous on YouTube no matter what I talked about. And there was a lot of controversy with a lot of my commentaries years ago that surrounded myself with, but the thing is, I've learned to better myself, and I've learned from my mistakes, because I was very opinionated when it came to people like Ryan McCartan, and I didn't shy away from my opinion, and that's pretty much what made me famous on YouTube. Kind of like how talking about Kylie Control now has made me famous on YouTube. But like everybody, you learn from your mistakes and you learn to better yourself, and I think these stars they're definitely far from perfect. I think that being in front of the camera has really put a lot of pressure on their shoulders to have these perfect, flawless images, and you can only imagine what that's like. Just put yourself in the position of Kylie Control. Having a camera in front of you every single day and having to seem and feel as if everything is perfect, forgetting about the pressures of life on your shoulders and the pressure of being such a huge celebrity. I mean, being on Live with Kelly or being on Good Morning America every morning just to promote Descendants. I mean, think about the pressure. Millions of people watching you worldwide, millions of people tuning in for the premieres of Descendants and Zombies expecting the best, and the stars thinking they're not really offering you the best. I know Meg Donnelly has struggled with this for years about how she doesn't feel as if she's as good as what people perceive her to be, but I'm here to tell you that Meg Donnelly is as good as how people are perceiving her to be, because if she wasn't, people wouldn't love her as much as what they do and wouldn't want to be a part of the Zombies franchise. Because I think it's the dream of everybody to have something to do with zombies, to be a part of this franchise. It's a dream of everybody to fall in love with a zombie and live life out for the rest of your life eternally and forever and always. I don't see anything wrong with that, and I'm here to encourage that. I'm not here to tear down or take away the credibility of Descendants and Zombies. I love talking about it. That's why tomorrow morning, bright and early at 8:35 a.m., between 8:35 a.m. and 9:05 a.m., I'll be back with another podcast, because I love talking about Descendants and Zombies. It's really been an honor of mine to be able to sit in front of this podcast microphone every night of my life and talk about Descendants and Zombies up to 4 times a day, 3 to 4 times a day, because nobody else does it for you guys. And you guys have deserved a show devoted to Descendants and Zombies for what feels like forever. I wanted to give that to you guys, and I've always wanted to believe that there was a chance that mermaids could settle in Seabrooks, along with pirates and witches and sirens, who are some of those supernatural creatures, powerful supernatural creatures of all time. Honestly, I'm really excited to see where Zombies goes. While people are closing the door on Zombies, I'm really excited to see where this franchise takes us, because we have so many distant worlds left to discover, both under the sea and on land. And for Descendants, we have so many distant fairy tale worlds like Olympus and Atlantica to discover. I mean, to me, to close the book on Descendants, it's way too early, and it's just jumping to a conclusion, a formidable conclusion, if you would, and it's just going along with all the criticism, so that the critics win. And as Descendants and Zombies fans, do we really want to get to a point where the critics actually win? I don't think so. I think what we want to see is the critics overshadowed by the love and support that the fans of Descendants and Zombies has given the franchise. Because with the love and support that you guys have shown the franchises, that's securing the future of your favorite Descendants and Zombies stars. No matter if you love Kylie Control, no matter if you love Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson from the past, it's incredible. And it's an incredible honor of mine to be able to sit behind this podcast microphone and to have reviewed Descendants and Zombies for up to 4 times every day. And I plan to do it for the rest of my life. If we've got a year to wait between now and the release of Descendants 5 Week Wonderland, up to 4 years until Zombies 5 touches down, then I'm cool with that. I'll create Descendants and Zombies videos for you for the rest of my life. I know Zombies has seen its fair share of criticism because it's a franchise that really doesn't fit the mold of what you expect to get out of a Disney franchise this time around. But the thing is, the times have changed, and it's not about Hannah Montana and High School Musical anymore, which is talked about a lot by Kylie Control and Meg Donnelly. It was talked about a lot because it was where they drew inspiration from. I mean, Kylie Control knew every lyric to every song on the soundtrack of High School Musical, just as she did for Descendants, and she wanted to aspire to be a part of High School Musical and Descendants. And her resume speaks for itself. A role on High School Musical, the series, for Disney Plus. A role as one of the stars of Descendants, the lead. It's amazing how far Kylie Control has come. So this is why people are criticizing her, because it has everything to do with jealousy. And I've not shied away from saying it has everything to do with jealousy, because it really does. If you were in the same position, people will be jealous of you. I've been jealous of my friends for forever because they drive faster cars, live in bigger houses. But apart from everything they've got going for them in life, I've got this YouTube channel, and I have each and every one of you. And I am forever grateful that I have thousands of girls subscribed to this YouTube channel because they're fans of Descendants of Zombies. And I want you to know, from my heart to yours, I just simply want to say thank you. Because before I didn't have you guys, I really had nothing going for me. Just a YouTube show that really wasn't going anywhere. Nobody really thought much over it. Nobody was really taking me serious for the niches I may have been attracting. I mean, being a YouTuber is a constant struggle because you never know how many people are going to watch your video, click on your thumbnail, going to give you the respect you deserve. But I've never believed that I deserve respect. Respect is earned. And I know that's really cliche, and a lot of people say that. You don't be handed respect. Respect is not given to you. It's given to you because you earn it. And I just wanted to earn your respect for talking about Descendants of Zombies, because Descendants of Zombies has deserved an incredible amount of respect that it's never seemed to be given. I've always just wanted to be here. I've always wanted just to show up and talk about Descendants of Zombies in the way it was meant to be talked about for what feels like forever. Because when you hear negative reviews about Descendants of Zombies for up to 10 years, which is a decade, it's really ridiculous. And now we're embarking on this new journey with zombies that's going to be taking so many places unlike ever before, with mermaids now entering the fold, possibly pirates and witches and sirens. Everything's entering the mix. So I'm really excited about it. So I just want to be excited about it while offering you the respect to Descendants of Zombies it's deserved for quite some time, honestly, because I'm tired of hearing the negative reviews. I'm tired of hearing about how Kylie Control has to cry herself to sleep every night, crying her eyes out of her head because she can't make sense of her own life. Kylie Control needs to know that people love her. And there are people out there that review Descendants of Zombies who love her so much, and I am one of those guys. And if I am the only guy who ever says anything nice about Descendants of Zombies, I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that, because there's nowhere else in the world I'd rather be than sitting behind this podcast microphone for each and every one of you, talking about zombies, talking about Descendants, talking about everything Disney. It's been an incredible journey for me, and an experience unlike anything I've ever experienced in my lifetime, and I never ever want to forget each and every one of you. Regardless of where my life takes me, I want each and every one of you to know you mean so much to me, and I will never ever forget you. If in fact I do go down in history for being one of the greatest of all time because of you, I'm never going to forget you. And you will always and forever hold a very special place in my heart. You know, I have no regrets. Ever since I first premiered on this YouTube channel on YouTube years ago, I have had no regrets. And I still have no regrets. Because each and every one of you made me a superstar. Each and every one of you propelled Descendants of Zombies to the heights of greatness. And they will never forget you either. Because each and every one of you just had a profound impact on their lives and their hearts. I want to say thank you so much for allowing me to have been your voice of Descendants of Zombies, because this is an honor and an accolade that you could have bestowed upon anybody, to be your voice of Descendants of Zombies. But I want you to know, from my heart to yours, I am eternally grateful for you guys just being here and showing me the love and support that you have, because honestly, I don't know where I'd be without each and every one of you. I sure as hell wouldn't be talking about Descendants of Zombies as much as what I have, and over 300 videos having been uploaded on this YouTube channel. I'm expecting to cross over 50,000 views over the next 48 hours. That remains to be seen, but we're just a couple of hundred views under 50,000. So that's an incredible accolade, and the latest accolade that this YouTube channel will achieve. So that's 50,000 views, putting us at 50,000 views and just over 2,000 watch hours is incredible. You know, in the last year, we put up over 700 or 800 watch hours. Yeah, 800 watch hours in the last year. So that's amazing. And it's all got to do with your guys' support and the passion that we all share for Descendants of Zombies, because without the passion, then we would not all be here. You know, I wanted more than anything to have an audience, to have people who would be, you know, so supportive of me and my vision for this show, and I had the opportunity to do that. You know, when I felt like I had nobody in this lifetime, I sure had each and every one of you. And I just want to say thank you so much from my heart to yours for having made this show so incredible and such an honor to host. Because without each and every one of you, I honestly don't know where I would be. I honestly don't. My show probably would have faded off into obscurity years ago and probably would have been forgotten about. But because of stars like Dove Cameron and Kylie Control, who made me famous overnight, that's the reason why I'll come back tomorrow morning as early as 8:35 a.m., between 8:35 a.m. and 9:05 a.m. to talk about Descendants of Zombies once again for each and every one of you. So before I leave you tonight, I just want to leave you with one final thought, and that is that a dream is a wish that your heart can make. And every single night that you look at the moon and the stars, we are both looking at the same moon and the stars, and somewhere in that constellation, the words "I love you" are written. You may have to look a little bit harder than others to find it sometimes, but trust me, it's there. And you will find your light. This YouTube channel will forever and always be here for you, the fans of Descendants of Zombies, who have helped me make sense of my own life when I felt like I had nobody more times than often enough. Thank you guys so much for having made me your voice of Descendants and Zombies. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons and be a part of this journey. We will talk again tomorrow morning. Until then, I'm your host, Jonathan Clarke, reminding you that kindness really does go a long way in this world. All you have to do is spread your own emphatic message of kindness, which I trust in you that you will. Keep kindness in your heart as I will keep you in mine. And we will talk again in just a few hours from now, as early as tomorrow morning, as early as 8:35, between 8:35 and 9:05 a.m. I'm your host, Jonathan Clarke, your voice of Descendants and Zombies. Be kind to one another, because kindness really does go a long way in this world. Stay safe tonight wherever in the world you're hearing my voice and watching this video, and we will talk again tomorrow morning. Bye, YouTube. Life is sweeter when all of us are, because kindness really does go a long way in this world, and further than many of us may realize.